Hey everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our channel, Paws On Animation.
And today we're covering the Sonic the Hedgehog OVA. And yes, there really is an OVA.
Now, this anime OVA was released in 1996, back when Sonic was a very new franchise, and it shows Sonic and Tails traveling to another dimension, yes, before it became commonplace, to defeat Robotnik's creation, Metal Sonic. If they fail, he will take over Freedom Planet. There he goes again. But
before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, notifications with future podcasts and one of Paws videos.
And thank you so much for joining us today, subscribing, sharing our videos, commenting, everything you do. We appreciate you very, very much. Thank you, thank you, thank you.
Yes.
And welcome to the month we're covering lots of Sonic.
Yes. Now,
you found this OVA.
Yes, and it's one I heard about for a few years now and just really never went to find. It was like, oh, okay, they have one, big deal. And that was years ago. And recently, after we watched the 3 Sonic films, of course, you know that a lot of people pay more attention to this franchise more than ever. And if you watch the end of Sonic 3, they tease Metal Sonic. And that led people to question what were they going to use as the base or inspiration for the storyline involving him. And one that came up a lot was this OVA. And it was really the first Sonic movie. And it's all animated.
Yes. And I was really surprised at how much fun it was watching it and how much I liked it.
Yes.
So for those of you like me, and Rascal for a while, who aren't familiar with the Sonic the Hedgehog OVA, it was a 2-part original animation based on the video game. And it was produced by Studio Pierrot and directed by Kazutaka Igakami. And when we watched it, both episodes were put together.
Yes, and it was about a few minutes from being 1 hour.
27 to 28 minutes for each one, 54 minutes total. And then it wasn't dubbed in English, which is what we watched, until September of 1999. And that was to coincide with the international release of Sonic Adventure.
Which was pretty cool to learn. And that was one thing you had to keep in mind while we were watching it, is that you just had Sonic, you had Tails, you had Knuckles, and Robotnik. And then now the new addition of Metal Sonic. So this was probably the first time this character even appeared in the franchise. And what was so weird is that it was only 5 years old at the time this OVA was out. So you weren't going to see Shadow or Amy or Rouge or Silver or Blaze. You weren't going to see any of them in here because none of them were created yet. So it was a lot different watching this, knowing that this was still new and this was the beginnings of this franchise, and seeing how different the characters acted, how they were designed differently, and how the tone was really different too back when it was out.
Now, when this was released, as you mentioned, there was no Planet Freedom. And it was split into two distinct realms, the Land of the Sky and the Land of the Darkness. And Sky consisted of an unknown number of continents that drift in the stratosphere of the planet.
It's One Piece.
Connected to a massive ice formation. And there's one part in this OVA we're going to get to that made entirely no sense.
Right.
And then the Land of Darkness is the actual surface of Planet Freedom, and it's post-apocalyptic land, wilderness, where Robotnik is the only living inhabitant.
I don't even know how he got there. It's just, how was he living there? How did he survive me? It's desolate.
And now that we're discussing this, now it makes sense that what we heard in the anime makes no sense about the ice portion and then the hell portion with the fire going through like a tributary.
Like, everything should melt then. Somehow.
Right.
So, with this, again, it's a whole different feel. And it doesn't even start off immediately with action. It sort of just has a slow beginning and sort of leading up to the reveal of Metal Sonic. And when you first watch it, they actually start off with Sonic and Tails on the beach, and they kind of lived on some type of almost deserted island. They got a little house. I guess that's where they lived in the beginning, since they didn't ever clarify where Sonic lived, and they still don't. It's just like they just make the joke that he's homeless, so they just gave him a little place that Sonic and Tails live, and I guess they were relaxing. And it's one of the funniest parts in here is that Tails, who acts more like a kid in here, he's supposed to be 8. He really acts like in here. And he's got some type of wave board. He's out on there, and I guess Sonic's just watching him and relaxing. And then it starts to go kind of wrong, and Tails keeps calling Sonic, "It's Sonic! It's Sonic!" And over and over, and finally Sonic just yells, "Shut up, Tails!" And you said, "Why you mean to Tails today?"
And the next moment he needs to save Tails. If he had listened to him calling for him and gone to him, it never would have happened.
He was neglecting of his little brother back then.
He was.
It was one of the funniest things.
And it's not like everything was going on around him and was so busy. As you learn, there's nothing going on here. It's so weird that everyone else has been killed.
It's like, oh,
so you would think he would pay more attention to
the surroundings. Yeah, I guess that while he's on an island almost by himself, I
and
guess
to
he's
Tails.
relax. Yeah,
you know, telling him to shut up was like, dude, how many people are here? Not that many. What I think is interesting, it says, for the land of darkness, the city and terrain strongly imply that planet Freedom is a post-apocalyptic Earth that was built upon with floating islands. And it suggests that with some of the landmarks you see that the ruins are of New York City.
Yeah, which was really kind of dark when you think about it. New York.
Did not like the U.S. They didn't like New York City.
Yeah, and they have a president that exists in here, and his daughter who's just, no offense, she was there for fan service. When you see her, you'll understand. And it's like, okay. And this president, again, it's like something out of One Piece, calls Sonic and tells him he needs to stop Robotnik. And Robotnik's thing is that he gives Sonic this ultimatum: if he can go, if he doesn't defeat Metal Sonic, because he programmed him to be something better than him. And in this version that we see, he wants to, they call it life DNA, just say DNA, and copy it, imprint it onto Metal Sonic, and it'll be something he can't beat. If he can't beat him, then he can take over the planet. And it's fairly easy because you see really no one else. The guards were useless for the president. And like, you know, I think Robotnik had an easier time in here than any other time in this franchise. And first Sonic's like, oh no, I don't want to do it. And you're like, Sonic, everything will end if you don't do something. And then the president's daughter asked him to do it, and he said, yeah, okay, I'll do it. And it's like, okay, Sonic.
And typical anime, she keeps these poses where her legs look like if she moved them, you would see her crotch. And it kept happening over.
And she's got a tail for some reason.
Over. And we were like, why? That wasn't needed in here.
No, and it's like, and yes, if you're thinking, yes, a little bit Sonic's motivation to go do it. It's like, back when he was more, ladies' man in here. And it's so hilarious because she doesn't really provide anything to the story.
Absolutely
We thought maybe she would, but it seemed to be just the motivation for Sonic to go do it, because again, he was ladies' man in here. He liked all types of girls. So that's really it. And he goes to the other dimension and goes to find Metal Sonic. And it's hilarious. But as it goes, it starts to be a little less funny. Still funny parts, but you do end up taking the story seriously.
So in the U.S., this OVA reached number 7 on Billboard video sales and number 6 on the kids video sales from Billboard.
Really?
So it was pretty popular. It got a positive review from Die Hard magazine, and guys, these magazines probably exist anymore.
Yeah.
Also, Games Radar.
Yeah.
Approved the concept of a colorful, fast-paced anime adaptation of Sonic, noting the fights were cool. And then Anime News Network, which does still exist, praised the OVA for its non-traditional action, and it was good for Sonic fans. He called the English dub poor, poo-poo on him, and said the story strayed from the video games a little too much and was very basic.
Well, I guess they kept it self-contained, so you didn't have to see the storyline continue.
Well, it was an
in
OVA.
the game.
I'm not sure what these people were expecting.
Usually, they're most of the time they are non-canon and self-contained. Majority of the time they are, so that's really nothing new now. I will say, there were points in there you expect a little more action, but for what we got, it was good.
Yeah.
And Metal Sonic really was an antagonist. He didn't have any dialogue until the very end with only one line. It's kind of like Soundwave. And if they use this in Sonic 4, he will definitely be a menacing antagonist for it, because when we think about it, it's like we can see them using this in that movie. They also have Sonic CD and Sonic Heroes, and like I said, you don't know what they're going to pick, but I believe that they're going to use a big emphasis on this, because we don't know how Metal Sonic gets into the movies yet, because it's not finished at the time of this recording.
The copies in the clone.
Right. And there are no copies in this OVA, so we really want to see how are they going to take this story, or at least elements of it, and put it in, because he was really a threat in here. And I do like what they put in is that he got the final component of Sonic to, I guess, be him, but better. And there were moments in there where he had the synchronicities of Sonic, like you thought he was gonna kill an owl character they have in there who looks like the Tootsie Roll Pop owl for some reason, and got meant something with that after
1,
this.
2.
And he looked like that, and he thought he had killed him off, and he just put him in these 80s clothes for some reason. They're just looking like, why did he do that? And another one where something blew up and he actually ended up saving 2 people. So even though he was made to defeat and destroy Sonic and be the sole one, it's like he still ended up having the heroic parts, even though he didn't want to do it. So they had layers in here, even though they were really small, and that's what made you really appreciate the story for what it was.
I think what's funny is Knuckles was in here.
Yes.
Another version of Knuckles.
Who's Australian now for like half the movie.
For like a few minutes, and then the Australian accent disappeared. And we were like, what happened? He had on different shoes as well.
Yeah.
What I think is funny is looking up this information, it looks like mostly the content for Knuckles is what was copied and used later.
Yeah.
Not Sonic and not Tails.
Right.
And not Robotnik.
And they keep using the hat. It seems like the biggest thing they use so far, and people have said, you all this, and you got the hat.
And now you know that lying man did not create the hat for Knuckles.
No, it was in here all this time.
So the Knuckles miniseries had the Knuckles character wearing the hat from this OVA.
Yes.
And the Sonic the Hedgehog Archie comic series contained various references to the OVA. In issue 101, Metal Robotnik appears in an alternate universe.
Yes,
story.
we did see that in here.
Although his coloring altered from red to blue, and Knuckles also dons the same freaking hat.
This is hilarious.
Then in the Sonic the Hedgehog IDW comic series, like the Archie series before it, it contained many references to this OVA,
right,
including in its Scrapnik Island miniseries.
Yes, it sure did, with a Mecha Sonic.
Yes. And the murder of Sonic the Hedgehog features Knuckles wearing a hat similar
to
the one from this OVA. What was the fascination with the hat?
I don't know. They seem to really like using this hat. And the other thing ended up being hilarious is that, again, Tails acts and sounds like an 8-year-old. He's still the smartest one there and still the gadget person, but he acts way more like a kid, which was fine to see. But there's this point where the old owl guy was crying over something. You'll see when you watch it if you've seen it. And there's this part here, Mom noticed this before anyone else. And Mom said, why is he pointing at him like that? And it's like, what? He's just kind of pointing and just smiling and pointing. Is he like you're not touching him or something? What are you doing? He's just sitting there doing it as the guy's crying. Are you mocking him?
The oddest thing. Like, what are you doing? Point.
And then he finally stopped and it's like, what was that? I don't know. For some reason that was funny. That and then Knuckles having an accent for like 10 minutes and then it drops.
Now we watched this on YouTube.
Yes.
And it was released on DVD. But Discotech Media attempted to license the show for Blu-ray release in North America, but Sega wasn't able to locate the documents related to the OVA's music or the voice actors. That's very interesting.
Yeah,
How do you lose documents for something like this?
Exactly. Especially now that it's gone a little of a surge recently. People who watched it back then clearly still talk about it. It's something they remember watching as a kid, and the tone being way more action focused and having the darker tone. People really like when they do that take with Sonic. So if they do end up using this for Sonic 4, I think it's gonna go really well because you could see a lot of stuff being used and upgraded with the new animation.
And they're probably gonna put poor Knuckles in that hat.
Well, he already has it.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah, he already has
there
it.
You go. They already put it in there.
Yeah, so he'll have me like, why are you wearing that hat? You can see it.
So let's go over the voice cast for the English.
Which is pretty short.
Sonic, voiced by Martin Burke. And at the time, he had voiced other characters in films like Lethal Voice and Blood Chase.
Really?
He also voiced the character Shiro in Ninja Resurrection.
Really? Never heard any of those movies.
Tails was voiced by Lainey Frazier. And right now, she's actually 69 years old.
Really?
So she sounded like a kid, but she wasn't a kid.
Wow.
She's done live action as well. And in anime, she's been in The New Fist of the North Star, The Legend of Crystania, Devil Lady, and Final Fantasy, and Rurouni Kenshin, believe it or not. We had Knuckles, voiced by Bill Wise.
Really? Okay.
And you know him from doing anime dubs in films by Richard Linklater and Trey Edward Schultz, including... he's done a lot of live action like Texas Chainsaw Massacre. Oh my god.
Really?
He's done a lot of television shows and video games. Aren't anything really like Operation Weather Disaster, Serious Sam 3.
Haven't heard any of those.
Not things we're familiar with. Metal Sonic was voiced by Gary Dahan.
For the one line,
correctly. And he actually is a British voice actor and the current CEO of Viant.
Really?
And that was his small dub role.
Yeah, very small.
But since then, he's been in the Sakura Diaries, Tekken, the motion picture,
Really?
Legend of Crystania, so they join up again, City Hunter, Ninja Resurrection, things that we're really not familiar with. Right.
A lot of cyberpunk type movies seem to be near this type of thing with the OVA, too.
Sarah was voiced by Sasha Beshi. Yes, she had a name, even though there's no
say
information on her. The president was voiced by Edwin Neal, who also voiced Robotnik.
Yeah, so two voices.
Old Man Owl is voiced by Chris Campbell.
Old Man Owl. That means they just gave him no name.
And he's done a lot of anime dubs, including Akame ga Kill, Appleseed 13, Dragon Ball Z.
Yes, apparently.
Fairy Tail, Fire Emblem, he's done a lot. And the butler for the English is actually uncredited.
Okay, so
but in the Japanese was voiced by Ekumisu Takasi.
Okay, we'll credit him then.
Yeah. So this was a fun watch. I'm so glad that you found this. It wasn't anything like I expected.
Me either.
And that's probably because it was done so long ago.
Exactly, yeah.
But it was fun. It was something to watch and cover with you guys, giving you some Sonic coverage content for our channel. And again, if you want to see it, it is available on YouTube. Hopefully Rascal has put the link in the description for you.
Yes, there are two other people that upload because one channel unfortunately is gone that originally had it.
But if you guys have seen this OVA, whether it was when it was originally released or later as we watched it, let us know in the comments. What did you think of it? Did you laugh your head silly when they explained the two lands with the ice and the fire?
And laughing at Tails.
The fire should have melted the ice, but hey.
And Knuckles flying just for no reason he can fly.
And in the hat. And Tails pointing like he had mental issues. Let us know in the comments.
Sonic saying, "Shut up!"
Yes. And if you haven't seen it, watch it on YouTube. Go ahead. It'll take you less than an hour. Come back and tell us what you think.
And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates, weekly videos for anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Thank you so much for joining us today, guys, and joining us for our Sonic coverage this month. As always, you are special.
Thank you so much for watching. Rascal Entertainment.
And Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.